Now, looking at the Shaolin's testing ground changes, some of these were already in the previous testing grounds. But I do like the fact that they added the kick. I think that kick from dodge forward is necessary. He needs it. I think he needs it. He didn't have an opener. He doesn't have an opener. And he will now. And that's part of the problem. Because I thought they were going to have to at least give him an unblockable. But the fact that they gave him the kick, I think that's good. That's good. I still would have rather had that top unblockable because really, there's no danger in having to dodge. You really don't have to dodge with Shaolin. Yes, the only thing you really have to worry about is the sweep and the heavy. But we all know we like executions. And you can't get an execution off a sweep and a heavy. So that's one thing I wish Shaolin did have. But what he does have is a consistent way to attack. Another thing that I like is when he does his dodge heavy, he can go right into a light or he can go into his key stance. So he has a lot of options, just like Conk does, but Conk is Agent Orange. Meanwhile, Shaolin has not even one unblockable. He doesn't have any bleed, but he does have deflex, but you could say Conk has the superior block. So I still would like that unblockable to be there for him, but I like his kit a lot better. He can continue to attack, especially with the enhanced lights. That's going to work out well. But overall, I'm a fan of the changes. So you guys check it out. Let me know your thoughts on the changes. I will definitely be using Shaolin. I'm already got 50 plus reps in him anyway. So this is just going to make me want to play him more. He's always been a fun character to play. Now he's even more fun. I just wish he had some way where somebody would have to commit. Because there's not much where you have to commit. And you could really get punished and get your execution off. And that's what we like to get. We like to get our executions, right? Take a look at this. Let me know your thoughts. I'll be looking in the comments. Peace.
Right, so now we have Shaolin after a really nice Conqueror. So for Shaolin, what we focused on quite a bit is key stance. More like an easier access to get the key stance, but also getting better flow for the hero in general when you are in key stance and all that sort of stuff. So let's go into it first of all. So first off, key stance. The lights in key stance are all enhanced. I'm going to do a top light now, and you see it's enhanced. You can do a side light. It's enhanced. Same for the other side. And it's enhanced, right? So they're all now 500 ms and they're all enhanced. So that should give Shaolin a little bit easier time pressuring people with his lights when he gets into key stance. And as an aside, also the top one also does not stun anymore. The stun property there wasn't super useful. Didn't really give Shaolin anything good, so we decided to remove it. As for heavies in key stance, they are all now 800 milliseconds, and they are all undodgeable. So even top is undodgeable. It used to be unblockable. It was useful in some very, very niche situation, and we decided that it's better to have more consistency on having top and sides instead of having just sides and top be unblockable. Top is often the better option when you're doing undodgeable, because if your opponent dodges, like, because a lot of the times you can dodge and get an accidental block when you're dodging, whereas if it's in top, even if you side dodge, most of the time you're gonna get tagged by it, so that works much better. We also have Sun Kick. So Sun Kick now chains on miss, so it makes it a little bit safer against guard break. You can do a lot of different things with it, so that's kind of interesting, and it works really well. But the next big thing that we've done with Shaolin, which is super interesting, is that all the lights, so either like his lights like this, the heavies, you can do like this, or the Sun Kick Strike, this one, they all chain to the sweep now. So I can go top light into sweep. So every single one of Shaolin's key stance attacks that are done with light or heavy all go to his sweep now. You can't do it after Sun Kick because it wasn't that useful anyway. So we've moved that around a little bit. And so having it after any attacks actually really improves Shaolin's flow, because you can go, wait, I'm going to redo it again. So you can go that into sweep, into another heavy afterwards, that's guaranteed. That also goes back to key stance. So you can, in theory, go completely nuts, go like that, crazy, back into this. So you see the flow that Shaolin has is much, much, much better. When you get into key stance, you can be relentless in key stance and continually attack. As long as your attacks kind of are blocked, you're still good to go. So that's super interesting. And on top of this, that sweep, to make sure that it's effective, it can also be feinted. It's 800 MS, but it can be feinted. So if your opponent is going to dodge, going to try something, you can always feint guard break, and then that guard break leads to a heavy, which leads back to key stance. So the idea is really, we wanted to make key stance really a central point of Shaolin, and to have that as his main source of damage really, really well. The next thing we've done is for his side dodge attacks. So before they were kind of a bit stranded. Whenever you used to do these, they're good. They have good trajectories. They're not that bad. But the problem is that you were kind of stranded. You were kind of stuck there. So now the beauty of it is they can now initiate chains. So you can go into this infinite chain as much as you want. And they can also go into key stance, right? So Shaolin can now dodge an attack with this, go into key stance, go into sun kick, go into this, and keep the whole flow going and keep it going again. So it's one of the ways that we want to make sure that Shaolin has an easier way heading into key stance and keeping it going there. And in the same spirit, we've also added another move to Shaolin. A lot of the feedback that we've gotten for Shaolin was that he had a really hard time opening up opponents, even with the top light, which is now enhanced, you can see. Even with that, it wasn't enough. So we've decided to give him this move from dodge forward bash. It's the same kick as he has when he sprints. So it's a little bit different, but at the same time, it's good because it goes to your openers, like you do in sprint. So you can go into these types of things. So you can use it to open up opponents, go into key stance, again, flow, do the whole thing. So that works super well. It's super interesting. It's a standard type of bash that we have, so it's 500 milliseconds. You do it from 3 to 5 in your front dodge, and it changes to opener, so that's really, really well. As I said before, the top light is not enhanced to in neutral, so that gives Shaolin a little bit more pressure on this one. The side ones, because they get comboed, we really didn't want to give them that enhanced property there, but on top it makes a lot of sense. The other thing that we have on the side lights as well is that you can now mash the buttons to get them. Like, you can't really see it there, but I'm really, really mashing the light button. It makes the input a lot easier. Before, there was like a lot of timing involved there. We're moving away a little bit from mechanical skill and timing skill for these types of things. So it makes a lot of sense there. And we've also adjusted the damage. So before, when you used to do this, the first hit used to do 5, the second used to do 5, and the last used to do 7. So it kind of backloaded the damage of this. But the side effect of this was that we wanted to do it to make sure that players would actually be encouraged to go deeper into those 3 hits. But the side effect was that you used to spend a lot of stamina for very little damage. So we've changed it so that the first hit does 10, the second is 4, and the third is 4. So it's 18 overall, 1 more than we used to have before. But on top of that, it also front loads damage. So you get 10 plus 4 for 2 hits instead of getting 10. So you're getting 14 instead of 10. It's a lot more in line with the rest of the opener lights. Makes a lot more sense. Works quite well. And last but not least, we have Shaolin Zone. So Shaolin Zone attack was a little bit strange in that, like, if the second hit was blocked or landed, the third hit would always get blocked or always hit. It was kind of hard to understand there. It didn't make a lot of sense. You didn't really have any incentive to go in it. So we've changed it a little bit. So it's a little bit slower, right? So the second and the third hit are slower. The second is 800 and the third is 9. But you can now target swap them in between hits. And we've also improved the damage on them. So the first hit does 12. The second does 15 and the third does 18. The stamina cost has been normalized a little bit among them too, so they're all now 12 damage, 12 stamina rather. And because you can target swap them, it's super useful in group fights. So you can start this on one target swap to another one, target swap to another one. You still can feint at the timing you could before, so it works really well. And we're hoping that this attack is actually going to give Shaolin Zone a little bit more utility. It's much better in the minion lane. We fixed a bug that made it miss on minions, so it wasn't really that good. So that's about it for Shaolin. A big thank you to Francis, who was helping me be my body bag today. So thank you very much. And back to Josh, and we'll keep talking about the following testing grounds. Thank you very much.